hold on tight, because British politics just exploded with one of the most divisive, shocking demands yet. Labour peer Baroness Harriet Harmon has come out swinging, publicly urging Prime Minister Keir Starmer to suck it up and invite Donald Trump back to Britain on an official state visit. Yes, you heard that right. She's pushing Starmer to roll out the red carpet for Trump and even grant him the honour of addressing the Houses of Parliament. This recommendation comes despite Starmer's past condemnation of Trump's inflammatory statements, which he previously called absolutely repugnant. Now, with Trump newly elected and on the global stage again, Harmon insists that Britain's relationship with the US is far too important for personal feelings to get in the way. But her comments have ignited a fierce debate within Labour, pitting pragmatism against principle and throwing Starmer into a political firestorm that could reshape his entire career. What's at stake here, and how will this shocking demand impact the party? Get ready, because this scandal is about to blow wide open. This isn't just an off-the-cuff suggestion. Harmon's statement, made during an appearance on the Electoral Dysfunction podcast, is a full-throated call for Starmer to put aside his personal distaste and focus on the bigger picture for Britain. According to Harmon, the UK's economy and security could hinge on maintaining strong ties with Trump's America, whether the Labour Party likes it or not. The demand comes at a sensitive moment as Starmer struggles to balance his leadership between Labour's progressive values and the practicalities of international diplomacy. Meanwhile, criticism from the public and from his own party is building, and Starmer's next move could determine the future of his political career. Stick around as we dig into every angle of this electrifying scandal. The uproar began with Harmon's appearance on Electoral Dysfunction, where she spoke candidly about what she sees as Britain's need to foster strong ties with the United States, even if that means inviting Donald Trump on a state visit. Harmon didn't sugarcoat her views. She called on Starmer to bite the bullet and suck it up, despite Trump's controversial history, arguing that Britain's economic future and national security depend on close relations with the US. By Harmon's assessment, failing to build this relationship could be a costly mistake, both for Britain's standing on the world stage and its post-Brexit stability. And she didn't stop there. Harmon even suggested that Trump be invited to address both Houses of Parliament, adding that this grand gesture would emphasise Britain's commitment to the special relationship with the US. For many in Labour, however, this idea is not just distasteful, it's a betrayal of Labour's values. Starmer has yet to make a public decision, but insiders report that he's feeling the pressure. This is the same Trump that Starmer once denounced for his inflammatory rhetoric about immigrants, Muslims, and women. His remarks were sharp and unequivocal. He called Trump's comments repugnant and said they had no place in civil discourse. But now, Harmon's comments have turned the spotlight back on him, challenging him to weigh his past convictions against Britain's future needs. For a party leader who has been trying to reposition Labour as a voice of integrity and progressivism, Harmon's demands have created an uncomfortable dilemma. If Harmon's goal was to ignite a debate, she has certainly succeeded. The Labour Party is deeply divided over her stance, with many party members horrified at the thought of extending a warm welcome to a figure they see as embodying the opposite of everything they stand for. For Labour's progressive base, Trump represents intolerance, divisiveness, and a history of inflammatory statements on issues close to their hearts. To them, inviting Trump would be nothing short of endorsing these values, and Harmon's suggestion that Trump address Parliament only adds fuel to the fire, sparking fears that such a move would send the wrong message to the international community about where Labour's priorities lie. Many members are asking, can Labour truly call itself a progressive party if it willingly invites Trump for a state visit? As the party wrestles with these questions, Nigel Farage, ever the provocateur, has jumped into the fray, offering his support to Starmer in fostering diplomatic ties with Trump. Farage, who is known for his close connections with Trump, went so far as to suggest that Foreign Secretary David Lammy should issue a public apology for previously calling Trump a racist KKK and Nazi sympathizer. Farage's remarks have only intensified the debate, putting additional pressure on Labour to clarify its stance and fueling public backlash. For many within Labour, Farage's reappearance is the worst possible development, as it forces the party to reckon with past statements about Trump while also dealing with Farage's not-so-subtle provocations. Harmon's comments have also struck a nerve outside of Labour, with many veterans and advocacy groups expressing deep discomfort. As the country observes Remembrance Sunday, the timing of Harmon's remarks has drawn criticism from veterans who feel that inviting Trump, a figure widely viewed as divisive, would dishonour the legacy of those who fought for Britain's values of respect, dignity and justice. Veterans gathered at the cenotaph to honour the fallen, and as they commemorated their service, whispers of discontent were reportedly circulating among attendees who viewed the potential Trump invitation as an affront to Britain's moral legacy. Advocacy groups argue that while diplomacy is important, a full-state invitation to Trump would compromise Britain's values and send the wrong message to the world. With tensions rising, Starmer's advisers are reportedly struggling to navigate this political minefield. Starmer himself faces an impossible choice. By inviting Trump, he risks alienating Labour's core supporters and progressive voters, who might view a state visit as an unforgivable betrayal of the party's values. But if Starmer rejects Harmon's advice and snubs Trump, he risks damaging the UK's crucial alliance with the United States, an alliance that Britain arguably needs now more than ever in its post-Brexit reality. The stakes are clear. This decision could shape not only Starmer's leadership, but also the Labour Party's direction for years to come. Some within Labour are starting to question whether Starmer's leadership is leaning too far toward pragmatism at the expense of principle. For the more progressive factions, this is a defining moment that could reveal whether Starmer is willing to compromise Labour's identity for the sake of international relations. Harmon's stance has forced Labour to confront an uncomfortable question. Is the party willing to sacrifice its values if the alternative means losing diplomatic ground? And if so, what does that mean for Labour's future as a progressive party? Meanwhile, Farage's involvement is raising alarms among Conservative leaders. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch has reportedly expressed concern that Farage's renewed interest in the UK-US relationship could create a political storm within her own ranks, especially if Farage positions himself as a Trump envoy of sorts. For Badenoch and other Conservatives, the situation is delicate. Farage's involvement could put them at odds with their traditional base if he pulls the party further into Trump's orbit. Ultimately, the choice rests with Starmer, and he faces a brutal balancing act. Should he heed Harmon's advice and extend an invitation, he risks alienating his party's progressive supporters and potentially compromising Labour's principles. However, if he refuses to engage with Trump, the diplomatic and economic fallout could be severe, affecting Britain's post-Brexit standing in the international community. Harmon's comments have left him with a nearly impossible choice, one that could define his career and reshape Labour's identity for years to come.